Guys, today we're diving into the chaotic, messy,
Are you really so messed up that you can't?
and sometimes criminal life of everyone's favorite reformed bad boy from Grey's Anatomy, Alex Karev. And coming in first, we've the felony assault. When the grumpy surgeon decided to take his anger issues to the next level, he brutally assaulted Dr. Andrew DeLuca.
Okay, hey,
Now, we all know Alex has a bit of a temper. It's like his superpower, but instead of saving lives, he's more likely to take a swing at someone's face. The assault was so severe that DeLuca ended up in the hospital with serious injuries, including a fractured skull and internal bleeding.
How is he?
He's got a grade 4 high FEMA.
It was like a scene from a bad mafia movie, except instead of a mob boss, it was just Alex being his usual hot-headed self. So, let's talk about the consequences. For felony assault, Alex could be facing a prison sentence of up to 10 years and fine too, depending on the jurisdiction. And that ushers in his next crime, obstruction of justice. After Alex's rampage on DeLuca, he decided to lie about his involvement in the assault.
DeLuca's gonna clear everything up when he gets out of surgery, so is there anything?
There isn't.
Alex, being the expert in poor decision-making that he is, decides to take his chances.
Talk to the police.
No, we can't wait until we find out how bad it is. You know,
Trying to be sneaky.
You talked to the police yet?
no, I mean, why?
And for this crime, he'd face 5 years imprisonment and fined $250,000. Yeah, obstructing justice is a serious offense. It undermines the integrity of the justice system and can have serious consequences for both the perpetrator and the victim. So, let's all take a deep breath and remember, honesty is always the best policy, especially when you've just assaulted someone. Alex Karev, the lovable but slightly sociopathic surgeon, was at it again with unauthorized surgery. This time, he decided to play hero and perform an unauthorized surgery on Rebecca, mostly known as Ava. So, he took matters into his own hands and performed an exploratory laparotomy. Now, here's where things get interesting. Alex didn't exactly have permission to perform the surgery. In fact, he didn't even have authorization. But hey, when has that ever stopped Alex Karev? Alex saved her life. But he also broke a few rules. Alex's unauthorized surgery on Ava was like a bad game of surgical Jenga. He pulled out all the wrong blocks and the whole thing came crashing down. We're pretty sure the hospital's malpractice insurance premium skyrocketed after that stunt. And yes, the consequences of Alex's actions are severe. A hefty fine, a suspension, or even revocation of his medical license. If Ava or her family decides to sue, he'll also have a lawsuit to deal with. And next on Alex's surgical rogue gallery, yet another unauthorized surgery. This time, he was the temporary chief of Gray Sloan Memorial.
interim chief. It's temporary, and it's a win-win for everyone.
And he was determined to make the most of his newfound power.
And it's a win-win for everyone. Joe gets this killer fellowship, and I get...
He performed surgery on a patient who didn't want surgery.
The insurance, it was really clear. This is pre-existing.
Alex decided to take matters into his own hands and pulled a stunt
What is this?
that would make even the most seasoned surgeon blush. And the charge for this crime, violation of medical ethics,
Planning to tell his mother on a medical ethics committee.
with a penalty of fines ranging from thousands to millions. It's like he was checking off boxes on a bucket list, except instead of skydiving or traveling the world, it was felony assault and obstruction of justice. As Alex Karev's rap sheet continued to grow, we couldn't help but wonder, what's more explosive, his temper or a fireworks display? It's a tough call, but one thing's for sure, his explosive temper would definitely leave a lasting impression. Following that is insurance fraud, but this time he teamed up with Meredith Grey to commit it. Because, you know, saving lives isn't enough, you've got to break the law too. Meredith, being the dark and twisty surgeon she is, decided to take matters into her own hands. And by her own hands, I mean Alex's hands too.
She's got a plan.
Together, they hatched a plan
We'll figure something out. I have a plan.
to commit insurance fraud. They were like two peas in a pod, except instead of being cute and harmless, they were breaking the law. For this, Alex and Meredith could face up to 10 years in prison for their little insurance scam. They would also be fined up to $250,000, or twice the amount they defrauded. And let's not forget the damage to their reputations. Who wants to be known as the surgeon who committed insurance fraud? But let's get back to the crimes. After all, someone's got to keep the lawyers at Gray Sloan Memorial busy. Another of Alex's crimes is a classic tale of love, jealousy, and a heated confrontation. Alex Karev's temper gets the best of him, and he finds himself in a tense altercation with Dr. Jason Myers.
You're a douche. No, you're a douche.
The two doctors go head to head. Alex threatened Jason.
It's about time.
You mean thank you, Meredith, for carrying.
And as we all know, actions have consequences. He would be spending up to a year in prison. He'll also be fined according to the jurisdiction. Let's not forget Jason. Yeah, he could sue Alex for assault. Alex's troubled past reveals another crime: juvenile shoplifting. We get a glimpse into Alex's troubled past in season 1. He opens up to Meredith about his secret pain.
Oh, you want to go out for a drink later and hear about my secret pain?
Fast forward to the present, rather the past, since we're talking about juvenile crimes. Alex would be charged with juvenile theft and sentenced to juvenile detention. The duration of his detention would depend on the jurisdiction, and of course, he'd also have to cough up the cash to pay for the stolen item. Alex's rap sheet continues with falsifying medical records. And then there was the time he falsified medical records. Because what's a little white lie between doctor and patient, right? Wrong. Alex's creative writing skills might have impressed his English teacher, but they didn't quite cut it in the medical world. Who knew being a doctor required so much honesty? And as it turns out, Alex's unauthorized surgery on Ava wasn't the only shady move he made. He falsified her medical records to cover his tracks. Talk about a serious breach of medical ethics. Alex's actions put Ava's life at risk and compromised the integrity of her medical care. The charges? Fraud and tampering with medical records. Would get him up to 5 years in prison and may include substantial fines. Finally, the last of Alex Karev's crimes, we have unprofessional conduct. Throughout his career, he's engaged in some seriously unprofessional behavior, including inappropriate relationships with colleagues.
Yeah, okay, the way you're grabbing me now, that's assault.
Superiors.
If you want to yell at me,
and juniors. Because, boundaries are overrated, right? But here's the thing. Unprofessional conduct can have some serious consequences, especially when you're a doctor. It's like playing with fire, except instead of flames, you're playing with your medical license. So, what's the damage? He'd be charged for violation of medical ethics and hospital policies, and there's no prison sentence for that crime. But he'd be looking at possible suspensions or worse, revocation of his license. He sure has his way with crimes. As Christina would lovingly call him, Alex is indeed the evil spawn.
Hey, Zhang.
In your dreams, evil spawn.
Of Gray Sloan Memorial. He's like a walking chaos.
I think you do.
Hot cross buns.
Leaving a trail of destruction in his wake.
Why are you walking like that?
I gotta burn.
His friends.
But she's annoying.
So are you, guy.
Remember when you gave him syphilis?
And patience.
I just wanted to eat my freaking lunch, that's all.
And patience didn't exactly have it easy with him either. It's a wonder they all still have their sanity intact. And that's the end of Alex Karev's trial session. He's definitely found himself on the wrong side of the law and the medical disciplinary committee. As we tallied up Alex's crimes, we couldn't help but think, this guy's got more lives than a cat has lives. Felony assault, obstruction of justice, unauthorized surgery, insurance fraud, threatening behavior. And that's just the beginning. Alex Karev's life story should come with a warning label. Caution, hot-headed surgeon at work, proceed with caution, and a lawyer. But despite all his flaws, you've got to admit, Alex Karev was a genius. I mean, who else could make a career out of being a hot-headed, rule-breaking, crime-committing surgeon? It's like he had a PhD in chaos. At this rate, he'll need a separate wing in the hospital just for his legal team. So for all these crimes, Alex would be sentenced to at least 32 years in prison. Fines, and more fines. mandatory anger management classes, because clearly he needs them, several suspensions, disciplinary actions, and lawsuits, and to top it all, no medical license. And we're done with Alex Karev's rap sheet. What do you think? Did I miss any of his crimes? Let me know in the comments.